Hello and welcome to episode 319 of the video show. Hopefully this week I'm sounding a little bit better than I was last week. I watched last week's video back and to be honest, the audio sounded horrific. So I've worked on that over the last week or so and hopefully I've got it to the point where it sounds pretty good. So let me know in the comments if it sounds good. I've tested it, so I really hope it does. But that sort of taught me a lesson about creating these type of videos, creating live videos. Not everything goes right all the time. Things go wrong, and then it's just up to you to fix it. You've got to be relaxed about that. You've got to be ready for things to go wrong and to be aware of how you fix it in the future. So if you were unfortunate enough to watch that episode, sorry about the audio quality, and hopefully I've got it right this time. So in this episode, what I want to talk about was sponsored content. So I put a few videos out there yesterday just about stupid, sort of silly little sponsor videos about the kind of videos where people make, they get sent a product and then they sort of advertise it on their social media channel. I wanted to talk about that kind of sponsored content where people get paid or they get sent a certain product and they have to talk about it in exchange. So these people are usually sort of seen as influencers, and I wanted to talk about the kind of products that they talk about, how I've been caught out by these kind of sponsored contents, but also get your opinion on if you've been caught out by this kind of sponsored content before, what kind of products you've bought, but also what kind of products you've bought because of sponsored content that has worked really, really well. Most of the things I'm going to be talking about today are quite negative, so it will be good to see sort of a lighter side of things and where sponsored content works, whether you've done that, used influencer marketing yourselves with your brand, or if you have bought a particular product because of an influencer or because of sponsored content as well. So the reason why I'm talking about this is purely because I was listening to a podcast. I was on quite a long drive just before lockdown. I was filming somewhere and I was listening to a podcast called The Enthusiasm Project by someone called Tom Buck. He's on YouTube as well. He's got an amazing YouTube channel. The podcast is really good as well. And over the past few weeks, I've sort of binged a lot of his podcasts and have binged a lot of his YouTube videos. And he was talking about having an ethics statement when it comes to products that he advertises, and really like brands have to really jump through hoops for him to actually create some sponsored content. I think he's only ever done one bit of sponsored content for like a royalty-free music, and it didn't really work. And he sort of had similar thoughts to me about how influencers create this kind of sponsored content, and he's sort of been caught out with it in the past. And I've definitely been caught out in the past as well. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit in pre-recorded corner, the kind of things I've been caught out by. But the kind of videos that these influencers make where they create a video just to promote this product or this, for me, it's like usually a bit of camera gear, something like that. And it's really hard for them to be impartial. It's hard for them to not just talk about the positive stuff as well. So what I've tried to do since is to look for reviews that haven't been paid for, so I can get a really good sort of honest review of a particular product, and then to work out if I need that product or not as well. And I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But firstly, let's take a little mosey on over to pre-recorded corner and look at how I've been caught out by these products in the past. And then when we get back, I want to see if you've sort of been caught out by these products as well. So I've got pressing buttons now. Bear with me. Hello and welcome to Pre-Recorded Corner, the part of the show where I pre-record an aspect of what I want to talk about. And today I want to talk about the things that I've bought because of sponsored content. There's two things that I want to talk about, two pieces of equipment that I've bought, and both have had varying results. The first is the DJI Ronin S, which was a gimbal that I bought a few years ago, and it was to put my camera on so I could get steady shots. I bought this because loads of influencers came out and made all these videos about how great it was and how brilliant it was and how easy it was to use, and how they were going to use it. I bought one, and I can say very, very confidently I used it about twice. It took forever to set up, For me, I'm shooting stuff and I need to shoot things very quickly. And for something to take really long to set up, it really does not help. So I traded that in after a few years and only used it a couple of times. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was the DJI Osmo Pocket, which is basically a pocket version of the same gimbal. Again, I've still got this. I don't have the Ronin anymore, but again, I haven't used it that much. But for both things, at the time, you see all this sponsored content for it, you see all these videos coming out, and you think, oh, that looks really great. I can sort of see how I would use that. And then you get it, and then you don't use it that much. So how can you avoid falling down these holes? How can you avoid these pitfalls when it comes to buying this kind of content? Firstly, I think look at when it came out. You'll notice that when a new product comes out, loads of these influencers post these videos at the same time. That's because they need to line these videos up to when these products come out. So they'll be sent the products, they'll probably be paid quite a bit as well, and then they'll schedule these videos all to come out on the day of release. That's where you'll see all these videos come out for these new products, like when these products are released. So when DJI release a new product, when GoPro release a new product, all these videos will come out on the same day. And then just sort of keep an eye on that, and then look at how those influencers use that product. If they sort of talk about how great it is, they don't give many downsides to it, look for other videos that give you an honest review, a non-sponsored review of it, and then you can sort of balance it up a little bit. But then look at also, does that influencer continue using that product after that video? Do they continue using that product in other videos that they're making? If they do, then maybe it's worth taking another look at. If not, then you can sort of start to see if they're being truthful in their original video. And you can kind of understand why they wouldn't be truthful. If they're being paid a lot of money, if they're given these products for free, then sure, they're going to be like really upbeat about whatever company it is. Number 3 is wait and do your research. So do you really need it? Do you sort of find yourselves weeks, months after this product coming out thinking, oh, I really could do with that product. It would make my workflow a lot easier. So I've been caught out with this a couple of times. There's some products I've bought that I haven't used, but there's quite a lot of products I've bought that I use every single day. So the A10 Mini, for example, I use it every single day. I use it in the live videos I make. I use it on like even Zoom calls that I do. I use it for videos and series that I produce as well. So think about where products will fit into your workflow. Will they help speed things up? Will they help you make stuff quicker? I'm not really just talking about videos as well. If like there's a new product that's coming out that will help you with your workflow, these kind of rules can apply to you as well. So that's it for Pre-Recorded Corner. Back to me over there for the rest of the live broadcast. Bye. So welcome back. Yeah, so I think where I've got a problem with this kind of content is that it seems a bit dishonest. The videos that I've been caught out by, it feels like they were being really upbeat about a particular product to the point where I thought, oh, I could do with that. I need that product. And then when I bought it, usually I felt a little bit disappointed by it. So I think the biggest point from Pre-Recorded Corner to take from it is that look at if they continue to use that product. Do they actually continue to use it further down the line? Are they still using it 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, a couple of months later? And what I find is, on the whole, usually they're not. They usually got a pretty good setup in terms of the videos they're making, in terms of their workflow anyway. And then I think you need to think about whether you will use that product. Is there still a hole in your workflow that this product will help you fix, help you make your workflow work easier, work quicker? And then think about that as well. That I think has really helped me consider like where to sort of really start thinking about sponsored content as well. And I realize I'm being really negative about this. So let me know, like in the comments, if you've had a negative or a positive experience with sponsored content. And I think the way that I could sort of suggest that you spot this is where influencers also start talking about a particular product at one particular time. So a new product's just come out and then all these videos appear with this new product in. that's when you kind of know it's sponsored content. If they're overly using hashtags, if it's an influencer who's promoting something that's not really got something to do with them. For example, if it's an actor that suddenly starts talking about like a diet supplement or something that's not really relevant to what they're talking about. I think on the whole, brands are quite clever in terms of who they get to promote their content. And Tom Buck, who I mentioned earlier in the show, really goes into detail in this in his podcast. I'll put links below to that. But yeah, that's just sort of my experience with sponsored content, and I would love to know your experience with it as well. Whether you've been caught out by it, whether you've had negative experiences for it, or whether you've had positive experiences from it. So let me know what you think. Can you spot these kind of posts? And let me know, as I said, have you had positive experiences? Because I've had a few negative ones. So I want to hear your positivity to make you feel better about it. And then finally, next time, also, I thought I'd give you a quick look at the setup we've got here. So I mentioned earlier in the show the audio setup had changed. So usually I had a tiny little audio output, sort of everything going into this little tiny audio thing, but I invested in a Rodecaster Pro, which plays all sorts of like little jingles like this. It does a lot more besides that, but it's really going to help me sort of push the podcasting game here in the studio for not just myself but other shows too that we've got coming up later this year and early next year as well. So keep an eye out for those. I will be talking about those probably on the show and on my other show that I'll be posting from January called Live Streaming. Series 2 starts in January. Keep an eye out for that. So next time we're going to be talking about confidence on camera for live videos. And this is something that I've really struggled with since I started doing live videos. I'm super confident in talking in front of camera just generally. So if I'm pre-recording a video, like pre-recorded corner, it doesn't even cross my mind that I should get nervous. But with these live videos, like just before I came on to do this live broadcast, I couldn't help sort of starting to worry about it and how it was going to go, and there was a little sort of knot in the pit of my stomach about how this was going to go. So I want to sort of talk about how to get past that, how I've started getting past that, and how to get better at it. So next time we'll be talking about confidence for camera for live videos. It's sort of the next thing for me to get past in terms of my own performance on camera, and hopefully if you've got any questions about that or any other questions for video as well, post them in the comments below. Even if you're not watching this live, we can pick those up later on. I will do my very best to reply. So that's it for episode 319 of the video show. I'll see you next time in episode 320. Oh, should we play like a little out jingle? Yeah, there we go. See you later. Bye.